It is Sunday, December 31st, and this is The National. Tonight, police are calling it an ambush, a gunman targeting 5 deputies responding to a routine call in Colorado. Protests turned deadly in Iran as the government threatens to crack down and shuts down social media. But we begin here in Canada, where in most places in the country, the new year is coming in freezing cold. And so in many cities, celebrations have been shortened, brought indoors, or canceled altogether. But even in the coldest spots, that is not dampening spirits.
They told us it would be cold, and you know what?
It's cold.
Yeah, they didn't disappoint.
It's cold, but it's nice to come out and see all the fun.
Is the cold making things a little bit less fun?
Not at all. It's even making it better.
They're in Winnipeg, where the annual New Year's event is still on despite temperatures of minus 37. And that cold snap is hitting much of the country. The expected low in Edmonton, minus 38. Warmer in Toronto, or perhaps the better description is less frigid, minus 30. Minus 36 is the forecast in Ottawa, minus 37 in Montreal, where New Year's celebrations are still a go, and minus 27 in Charlottetown. This is a big country, and we disagree on many things. How to deal with extreme cold is one of them, apparently. Greg Ross has more on that.
A new year bringing with it new record low temperatures across the country.
It's a pity.
This man was preparing for a big celebration in Charlottetown's Victoria Park. Instead, he'll have to settle for a scaled back indoor celebration hosted by the Island Storm, a local basketball team.
You can understand with it being so cold to take the risk of people maybe getting injured with the coldness.
They weren't taking any risks in Edmonton either, where with the wind chill, it's going to feel close to minus 40 tonight.
They can expect a very modified program.
There will be a fireworks display in Edmonton, but the city says there's no need to come and watch in person.
Instead, we're encouraging people to please watch the fireworks display at 9 p.m. tonight using the Clementines Facebook feed.
Some Winnipeggers were willing to venture outside despite the frigid temperatures.
It's not super cold tonight, so the kids wanted to do some skating, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah. I want to play with you.
But in Toronto, indoor activities were much more popular.
There's not much to do outside. No one wants to be outside. So, yeah.
Everyone seems to be off the streets today, that's for sure.
Well, not quite everyone.
It's pretty warm in there. It's really warm, and I'm homeless for almost 30 years.
This woman seeking refuge at Toronto's newest winter respite site. It's added 110 beds to the city's overcrowded shelter system, and organizers say it's imperative they use them and get out of the cold.
When the temperatures get down to minus 20, minus 25 at night, that can be very, very serious for people who don't have shelter.
He says those who stay out on the streets are at risk of frostbite, hypothermia, and in extreme cases, even death, which is why even if the other shelters around the city are full tonight, they won't be turning anyone away here.
We won't be saying no to anybody. Anybody who comes here, the doors will be open tonight.
While they're facing the possibility of having to expand their program, the city has scaled back its New Year's celebrations. An evening of live bands and DJs at City Hall was canceled, but the fireworks will go on. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Here in Vancouver, it's been a nice weekend, sunny, above zero, but about an hour's drive east of the city in the Fraser Valley, a few thousand homes are in the dark tonight after back-to-back storms covered power lines and equipment with ice. A lot of progress has been made. Power has been restored to well over 100,000 households, and workers were at it today trying to brighten New Year's Eve. Briar Stewart went to the community of Mission to see how people are coping.
As all of these trees came crashing down on James Sampson's property, the noise alone rattled everyone inside the home.
It was a nightmare. Like, what can you do, right? It was so bad, I didn't even want to go out. My dogs were terrified. My kids were hiding in the basement.
And in the daylight, the damage is clear. One tree fell on top of his RV. As for his truck, it's barely visible beneath a mass of branches. Power is still out here, as it is for thousands across BC's Fraser Valley. Storms have left the landscape and infrastructure encased in ice, and crews working around the clock. Not only are crews dealing with down power lines and trees, but they're also concerned about the ones still standing. That's because all of that ice is heavy and they're at risk of falling too. Residents not only have to be worried about what's hanging above them, but all that ice has made it tough to get around. Walking is difficult. So is driving. That is, if you can get to your car.
Well, this is the second attempt. The first attempt didn't go so well because it was raining so hard and we just gave up. So I just took literally, I measured it, 1.5 inches off the front windshield.
It's taken Warren Kobelvelt 2 hours to scrape off half of his car. Chunks of ice fall off in blocks.
We had it bad last year, but nothing like this. This is just something I have never seen.
Neither has Paul Deleu, which is why he grabbed his camera. Now with his power back on, he's concentrating on getting some good shots.
Yeah, I just love it.
You love it?
Oh yeah. No, I got a camera full of stuff that you'll never see again.
Or so most hope. As those left without power wait for the lights to come on, what everyone here really wants is a big melt. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Mission, BC.
What began as a routine police call in a Denver suburb this morning ended with 5 officers shot in what's being described as an ambush. It all began before dawn with a 911 caller reporting a domestic disturbance. Police say the first officers on the scene were led into the apartment and spent about a half hour speaking to a man with a gun. Why he suddenly opened fire is not clear.
It was clearly definite. It was like an exchange of gunfire, and pop, and then pop, and then return fire.
One officer was killed, another 4 were wounded.
I do know that all of them were shot very, very quickly, and they all went down almost within seconds of each other. So it was more of an ambush type of attack on our officers.
2 civilians outside the apartment were also shot and wounded by the gunman before police shot and killed him. The dead officer had been a member of the Douglas County Sheriff's Office for just 7 months. A motorcade accompanied his body as it was moved from a hospital.
He was doing his job. He was doing his job well, and his life was taken from us this morning.
To the latest in Iran now, where the government cut access to social media networks that are being used to organize anti-government protests. It is the biggest show of anger in the country in 8 years, yet despite more than 200 arrests and that online gag order, the president, Hassan Rouhani, today insisted people remain free to voice their dissent. Unrest has so far broken out in at least 13 cities nationwide. It erupted on Thursday in the northeast city of Mashhad, then quickly spread to the capital, Tehran, and beyond. At times, it's been violent with the deaths of at least 2 protesters in Darude. Middle East correspondent Derek Stoffel brings us the latest developments.
More protests and more defiance. Iranians took to the streets once again, despite warnings that the authorities would respond with an iron fist. Today, this was how police tried to control the crowd in Tehran. While what sounded like gunshots rang out in a city in western Iran. The government has moved to stop the world from seeing what's happening in Iran. 2 popular digital platforms are now blocked. The messaging app Telegram, which protesters were using to organize rallies, and the photo-sharing service Instagram, home to many videos documenting the unrest.
The Iranian security authorities, they see, they take notice, and they're worried that these platforms can be used to bring more people on the streets.
There is now confirmation that 2 protesters were killed overnight in the western Iranian city of Darude. This provincial official denied that the police fired any shots, instead blaming the deaths on foreign powers. This all began last Thursday with Iranians demonstrating against poor economic conditions and high prices. But it spread to cities across the country in protests that turned political and saw some call for the death of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. Tonight, Iran's president went on television in his first statement since the protests began. We are a free nation, Hassan Rouhani says. People are completely free to protest. But he urged them to do so without violence. While Rouhani admitted there are worries over the economy and corruption, the president's speech is unlikely to quell the protest movement, now the most significant threat to Iran's government in nearly a decade. Derek Stoffel, CBC News, Tel Aviv.
Today, Iran lashed out at Global Affairs Canada for a comment it made yesterday, calling on Tehran to uphold and respect people's basic right to protest peacefully. A foreign ministry spokesman accused Ottawa of, quote, a meddlesome stance, suggesting it was repeating the wrong, illogical, and ineffective language of former Canadian governments. To the U.S. now, and an explosive claim related to that special investigation into the ties between the Donald Trump election team and Russia. The New York Times says the probe can be traced back to a boozy night in a London pub. Karen Pauls explains.
President Trump is still in Florida for the holidays, but the news about the Russia investigation continues with new revelations in the New York Times about how the whole scandal may have begun.
Why did the FBI get so concerned about Trump and potential Russian contacts that caused them to launch this investigation? This was a key piece.
That key piece was George Papadopoulos, a foreign policy aide to Donald Trump during the presidential election. The New York Times says he was drinking with a top Australian diplomat in 2016 and mentioned that Moscow had damaging emails about Hillary Clinton. Soon after, WikiLeaks began publishing them. Australia took note.
And after that, it became clear that this was what Papadopoulos was talking about, and they put two and two together and urgently went to the United States.
Papadopoulos has since pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI. He's now cooperating with the investigation. Trump's allies say the president is not worried about it.
When you really uncover the data and the information, you'll find that the president was nowhere near the Russians as it related to the campaign, the election, or anything thereof.
But some say Trump's lawyers are telling him what he wants to hear, so he doesn't fire special counsel Robert Mueller in a rage.
The president of the United States, in their view, is out of control a good deal of the time, especially when it comes to this investigation.
This analyst says the timing of today's bombshell is no coincidence.
The Trump administration and even the president himself have been for a great number of weeks trying to undermine Robert Mueller, undermine the credibility of this investigation. This blows all of that out of the water.
A White House lawyer has put out a statement saying they have no comment on Papadopoulos and they are fully cooperating with the FBI investigation to help complete their inquiry expeditiously. Trump said earlier this week he thought everything would be wrapped up soon. He may be disappointed. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Washington.
Trump's optimism aside, many experts agree with the prediction that the Russia investigation will go well into next year. Some believe right through and beyond November's midterm elections. Mueller's team and federal prosecutors are seeking information from Dutch lender Deutsche Bank on Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and the former National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn, a process that could take several months. There are reports Mueller is also pursuing an obstruction of justice investigation related to Trump's firing of the former FBI Director James Comey. It is not unusual for special counsel investigations to take several years. Still ahead tonight on The National. New year, new rules. 2018 brings in new laws and regulations across the country. We'll look at how they may affect you. And from the Me Too movement to the NFL protests, this is the year pop culture got very political. Our panel breaks it down later in the hour. Plus more in our Reporter's Notebook series, why this summer's North American Indigenous Games were so important to our Duncan McHugh and to the athletes.
There's such a stigma around Natives, like all they're about is, but the bad stuff.
There's not enough positive around youth natives.
As you know, the first place in Canada to ring in the new year will be Newfoundland, where right now it is 10:45. We are looking live at O'Reilly's Pub on George Street in St. John's. We'll be counting down with them live next hour on The National.
Where we gonna fly? Tell me.
Margins on car sales have become so slim that many dealerships now make more money on service and repairs than on new and used car sales combined.
If you book in for a peace of mind inspection, check your brakes.
What you may not know is that service advisors don't have to be mechanics, and the more they sell you, the more they can often make. Lucas Lung learned it firsthand in his years as a service advisor.
I would say 90% of these dealerships do work by commission. When you're a service advisor, you are a salesperson. This is how you make your living, right? So you have to upsell them. They come in for an oil change, you're upselling somebody.
Holy cow, $1,200.
Marketplace heard many complaints from across the country, so we ran a series of tests. An expert
Hi, nice to meet you.
pre-inspected this woman's car, then we asked a dealership for their diagnosis. It came by phone, get the brakes done.
So what he was suggesting is to replace the rear brake drums and the brake shoes. With parts and labor, it'd be about $621 plus tax.
Wow, is that something that I can think about?
But our expert rejected that.
When I had the drums off, everything looked perfectly normal for that age of brake.
Not only did the dealership recommend service that wasn't needed, they also failed to mention something that was. The largest recall in automotive history, the car's potentially defective airbag.
What does the law say about a repair shop telling you need to do something before you need to do it, or you don't even need to do it at all?
Repair shops cannot offer services that aren't needed.
Harry Malley is with Ontario's government watchdog.
They can't mislead you if it's a service that's not needed. They can't be like, this is needed to fix your car.
If you do 84 months...
Head to the dealership.
84 months, 7 year.
And you're likely to hear this pitch.
127 bi-weekly at 84 months.
Most of the 10 we visited only mentioned 7-year loans. Only rarely did we hear about what used to be the norm, 4 or 5 years.
That to me is short-sighted, just a recipe for problems.
Ontario's auto regulator doesn't much like that, thinking more options should be presented up front. But this auto expert cautions against using a long-term loan at all.
Long-term loans with the low monthly payments often encourage consumers to buy a more expensive car.
Just watch. A $20,000 car on a 5-year loan costs $154 bi-weekly. But a $30,000 car, it's just $11 more, as long as you pay for 2 more years. But beyond spending more, there are big risks with long loans.
The last thing you want to do is be in a situation where you're making payments on your vehicle at the 6th year or 7th year.
On the National tonight, a small plane has crashed in Costa Rica, killing at least 10 foreign tourists believed to be American, as well as 2 crew members. The Nature Air flight went down on Costa Rica's Pacific coast, popular with North American and European tourists. South Korea has seized a second ship suspected of supplying oil to its communist northern neighbor in violation of international sanctions. The Panama flag tanker is being held at a western port. On Friday, Seoul revealed it had impounded this Hong Kong registered ship for transferring 600 tons of oil at sea to a North Korean vessel. The opening ceremonies of the 2017 Indigenous Games look to the past and to the future. Last summer, 5,000 athletes from across North America descended on Toronto for a remarkable event, billed as the largest Indigenous gathering in the world. Athletes were here to paint a picture of youth, determination, and hope. In tonight's Reporter's Notebook, Duncan McHugh gives us an inspiring look at the Indigenous Games.
Welcome to the Toronto 2017 North American Indigenous Games opening ceremony. I'm Duncan McHugh.
Alberta, l'équipe de l'Alberta.
that I got a chance to MC the opening ceremonies, the first night of the Indigenous Games, when there are teams from across Turtle Island, right across North America, from the United States and from Canada.
Almost 140 athletes will compete from the Yukon this year.
And to see thousands, I mean, there were 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people in the stadium, all gathered in the name of sport and Indigenous culture. It can be dark and gloomy to cover news. There can be an awful lot of death and destruction. And particularly when it comes to covering Indigenous news stories, there's an awful lot of tragedy. To watch the Indigenous Games was an entirely different side of Indigenous life in this country. And that's what I think was so memorable for me. I mean, the idea behind the Games, the original idea why the Indigenous Games were created, was to give youth, Indigenous youth, something positive that they could look forward to, something positive that they could aspire to.
I liked playing British Columbia last night. They were a really sweet team, like off the court, and they were really good on the court, like skill-wise.
My favorite moment, my buddy's dunk, number 5. He got a poster yesterday.
Oh yeah, that was pretty all right. I like that too.
I think when you're done your event, the relief of proving to yourself that you did well and that you tried the best that you can, it feels so good inside of you.
Every event that I got a chance to be part of, whether it was the unveiling of the mascot, who was named Debwaywen, he was a turtle who carried a lacrosse stick.
Are you excited to be here?
I mean, it's fantastic to see this Ojibwe turtle, you know, walking around and shaking hands with the little kids and stuff like that. And Debwaywen means truth in Ojibwe. That, to me, was just a wonderful moment. You know, these young Indigenous athletes are just like athletes everywhere. They have worked hard to get to the level of achievement that they've reached. They have dreams of winning. For some of them, just being able to compete is success.
Just meeting new people, just getting to know people is just kind of great.
Right when we landed in Toronto, I loved it. Seeing the view down off the plane.
Defense! Giving high fives, that's my favorite thing.
If I was to say to the average Canadian, you know, what's your impression based on the news of Indigenous youth? You would, I mean, I think many people would immediately say suicide, and that's true. I mean, Indigenous youth have the rates of suicide amongst Indigenous youth are much, much higher than they are for non-Indigenous youth. They might think about the young Indigenous girls that we see over and over and over again who go missing or who end up murdered. Those are the kinds of stories that I think Canadians have gotten, unfortunately, accustomed to hearing about Indigenous youth.
I feel like there's such a stigma around Natives, like all they're about is, you know, but the bad stuff. There's not enough positive around youth Natives.
So it's like something for kids to look forward to instead of like feeling sad about stuff or just get into bad habits. So by like making the NAG games, they say, wow, if I like go to my practices and I train really hard instead of doing other things, then I can be rewarded in a big way.
The thing about the games is that the Indigenous Games highlighted and profiled that there are Indigenous youth out there who are succeeding, who are working to make not only their own lives better, but the lives of their community better, through sport, through culture, through arts and entertainment. And Indigenous Games wrapped all that up.
I'm going to remember all of this for sure. It's an amazing experience to have and to keep forever.
I like how everybody's like as a group, as a family, and everybody's supporting each other, and it's a lot of love.
There's something pretty special about Indigenous athletes gathering to compete against ourselves. It's a good feeling of nationhood.
Well, we've been showing you some of the most noteworthy pictures and video taken by our colleagues this year, a series we're calling Behind the Lens. CBC photographers have told us about what it takes to get the perfect shot. And tonight, we take a look at the work of Ed Middleton. He's one of CBC's licensed drone operators, and to get this video, well, he had to go above and beyond. It took him 6 weeks to get permission to fly over the restricted airspace. The result was worth every phone call.
The shot that I chose is a shot of Parliament Hill taken with a drone, and it's powerful to me because it's a view that people have never seen before. In the past, to get aerial shots, we would have to hire a helicopter and it would be very expensive. But now you can get your own aerial shots anywhere from 2 feet off the ground to 400 feet in the air. And it's totally opened up a whole canvas of extra angles that you can get. The Peace Tower at Parliament Hill, it's a stationary building. So in order to make that more interesting, you kind of had to add some motion. And in switching lenses, we were able to get different looks. My favorite shot of the Peace Tower was coming across the water from the Gatineau side. And that was a view that I'm just not used to seeing of Parliament Hill, and at a height that I've never seen before either. It's actually made the job that much more interesting because shots that you kind of dreamed and wished that you could have gotten, you can now actually do.
In 2017, Canada aimed to accept 300,000 new permanent residents to the country. But who are these new permanent residents and how do they come in? So here's how immigrants and refugees are admitted into Canada. First, it's important to note that immigrants and refugees are not the same. An immigrant is someone who chooses to settle permanently in another country. For Canada, it's mostly economic immigrants, like skilled foreign workers. Then it's family class applicants who are sponsored by spouses or relatives who are already here. Now, a refugee, on the other hand, is someone seeking protection outside their home country. Some may be escaping war zones. Others might be in danger because of their religious or political beliefs or because of their sexual orientation. So, how does Canada screen all these new permanent residents? Well, Canada's Immigration and Refugee Protection Act says all foreign nationals must be screened to protect the health, safety, and security of Canadian society. For immigrants, that starts with a visa application to Canadian consular officials abroad. Officers will scrutinize their documents, histories, and personal relationships, and police checks make sure that the applicants haven't committed any serious crimes or violated international laws. And if at any point someone seems like they might pose a security threat, they have to go through interviews with either CSIS or the CBSA. And they even undergo health screening to make sure they won't pose a burden on the healthcare system. By the time it all checks out, it could be years before they're offered a permanent resident visa. For refugees, the process is similar, but more complicated. Canada's refugee screening process is divided into two categories: resettled refugees and asylum seekers. Resettled refugees start their applications abroad. Asylum seekers, like people who walk across the border from the United States into Canada, usually start their process here, either at a CBSA office or at a screening station. All resettled refugees must be referred to Canada by a designated organization like the UN's Refugee Agency. Before that can happen, applicants are scrutinized during in-depth face-to-face interviews. All refugees to Canada go through at least 2 of these interviews. Identities are confirmed using biometrics like fingerprinting and facial recognition. Travel histories are cross-checked with international partners, and the names are run against databases of known or suspected terrorists, spies, and war criminals. Then CSIS, the CBSA, and the RCMP can screen even further. Only after all of that can a person be granted refugee status to come to Canada. And remember, many applicants won't find a permanent home in Canada even if they are granted temporary asylum. Of the 15,000 in-country refugee applications processed in 2016, about a third were rejected. And that's not counting the hundreds of applications that were already terminated because the applicants either had criminal records or they abandoned their claims. Whether someone comes here as an immigrant or a refugee, the process is thorough. One security source tells us if there are any remaining concerns about an applicant, they'd sooner reject them or turn them aside than take a risk.
That pass picked off by McLeod. Works it and shoots. Scores!
Let's take a look at some of the stories we'll be following on the National this week. On Tuesday, Team Canada will play in the quarterfinals of the World Juniors. Here they are from last night, shutting out Denmark 8-0. That earned them top spot in their group. The gold medal game is Friday. On Wednesday, the Toronto Maple Leafs will celebrate the life of legendary goaltender Johnny Bower. It is a public event at Air Canada Centre. The Hall of Famer played 11 seasons with the team and led them to 4 Stanley Cups. Bower died this past Tuesday. He was 93 and had pneumonia. And tomorrow, Canada assumes the presidency of the G7 for 2018. So you'll see some of these world leaders in Quebec for a summit this June. The Prime Minister has said Canada will be guided by themes such as investing in growth that works for everyone, preparing for jobs of the future, and advancing gender equality. Every January 1st, there are new laws, new regulations, new taxes that take effect. We asked Evan Dyer to take us through some of the changes, from an additional holiday for some of you, to higher wages, to a new way to calculate taxes.
As you know, I spent the last few weeks traveling the country, listening to people.
The biggest federal change this year was brought forward to calm an angry storm, a storm provoked by Bill Morneau's plan to end some tax privileges enjoyed by small business owners, such as the ability to sprinkle income to family members. A watered-down version of those controversial changes will go ahead, but affect only a small number of businesses. Justin Trudeau offered another change that will affect all.
Beginning January 1st, we intend to lower the small business tax rate from the current 10.5% to 10%. And we intend to bring it down even further to the 9% we promised during the election campaign, starting January 1st, 2019.
A much bigger change is coming for minimum wage workers in Ontario. Their hourly wages will jump more than 20% from $11.60 on New Year's Eve to $14 an hour on New Year's Day. That will be the highest minimum wage in Canada, beating Alberta at $13.60. But not for long. Alberta leaps ahead to $15 an hour in the fall. Together, those two provinces have half of Canada's workforce.
I also know a lot of people who rely on these jobs to pay their bills, and this is just going to make it a lot easier.
Some provinces are also making health care cheaper. Ontario will make all prescriptions free for anyone under 25. That's a life changer for 22-year-old student Megan Fitzgerald, recently diagnosed with epilepsy and prescribed meds that cost $500 a month.
These meds were just kind of like a black hole, just like sucking like the life out of me and sucking the money out of me.
British Columbia is moving to reduce health taxes too, cutting its medical services premium in half. Fish, frogs, and humans can all celebrate the next change. Plastic microbeads, long used in beauty products, are being banned. The beads are so small they pass through most filters. Like all plastic, they build up in the environment, and this is where they often end up. And last, some good news for people in New Brunswick. A new stat holiday, Family Day, is coming this year. From now on, the third Monday in February will be a paid day off. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.
2017 brought a new perspective on politics, as so many important issues were viewed through the lens of pop culture. Before the holidays, I sat down with a special panel to consider moments like this.
I don't know about you. I've had enough of this. I don't know what could be more disgusting than putting a tax cut that mostly goes to rich people ahead of the lives of children. Why hasn't CHIP been funded already? If these were potato chips they were taking away from us, we would be marching on Washington with pitchforks and spears right now. So.
And the Juno goes to Jan Arden.
After 18 years of penning lyrics and humming melodies, suddenly Jan Arden seems an overnight success.
Jan Arden.
5 nominations turned into 3 awards at this year's Junos, including Female Vocalist of the Year.
Thank you very much.
The recognition comes after a busy year for Jan. She's been touring at home and in Europe. She released her second album, Living Under June, and hits like Could I Be Your Girl have been striking a chord with audiences wherever she goes.
He is the darkness that seeps into your fading light. Oh, my
everything changes. Just your whole life changes. How you think of yourself and trying to keep your feet on the ground and trying not to change. But part of being a human being is changing. But you just try not to change too fast and too much.
There will be no consolation prize this time the bone is broken clean. No baptism, no reprise, and no sweet taste of victory.
At Springbank Community High School, just outside Calgary, Jan was known as class clown and star athlete. Her musical success came as a big surprise.
I was just amazed when I saw her on TV the first time. I didn't know she was singing. I saw her on Canada AM one morning. Could have knocked me over with a feather, really. She was just an athlete. She was never in our drama productions that I can remember. Mind you, this is a long time ago. But I'm sure she didn't have anything like that on her mind when she was at school.
But what most at the school didn't know was that Jan had been writing songs since she was 14 years old.
I just did it secretly because I'd found a serious outlet. And a lot of people have asked me why humor doesn't, go into my songs. You seem like a really easygoing person and da-da-da-da-da. And I just decided that my music was off limits to that. That I finally had a way to express myself seriously and to be taken seriously. Not to have anyone else take me seriously, but to have myself take myself seriously.
It might be hard to believe Jan ever lacked self-confidence, but the fact is her transformation from lounge singer to Juno Award winner had its rough spots.
I didn't really know what I wanted to do and or what I was doing with my life. And, when you're working in bars all the time, I was not a very good drinker. I just wasn't good at drinking. Now, whether or not I had to me it was a problem because it affected the quality of my life. I was doing stupid things and cracking up cars, but just being young, being in my 20s and truly thinking that I was immortal.
Maybe you might have some advice to give on how to be insensitive.
As we begin a new year, we're taking a moment tonight to look back because pop culture didn't just mimic politics in 2017. This was the year pop culture was full of politics. And now there is no looking back.
No hate, no fear.
It began with the power of Pink, women by the millions marching in protest the day after President Trump's inauguration. Sexual misconduct would evolve from a secret to a movement, feminism becoming the word of the year. In the age of President Trump, late-night television became more political, more pointed, more angry.
Are we going to have to eliminate another civil liberty every time the president is cranky and won't go down for his nap?
Politics merged with sports. Patriotism mattered, and so did Black lives. A bombing at an Ariana Grande concert in Manchester, a mass shooting in Las Vegas. Suddenly and sadly, concerts weren't just about music, but also about fear. And in Canada, the cultural landscape became a little more barren with the death of one of our greatest artists. So we have this pop culture panel to talk about those and many more topics. Stephen Marsh writes for Esquire magazine and the New York Times. Lincoln Anthony Blades is a digital columnist for Teen Vogue. And Jelena Adzik, entertainment reporter here at CBC. Welcome to all of you.
Hi.
Pleasure. This seems to be the year where politics and pop culture merged over and over again, overlapped. It got messy, it got tragic at times, and we could begin anywhere, but why don't we begin with late-night television in the United States, Stephen, and hosts who seem to take on politics every night?
Well, they'd have no choice. I mean, this was the year that politics went into pop and pop went into politics. There's a late-night talk show host basically running the government at this point. There's a media personality who does very little other than media running the government. I mean, it's a horrible fact that politics is now inseparable from our lives. It's one of the terrible things about this year, and they were just reflecting it.
You're too young to remember this, both of you, I guess, but there used to be a guy named Johnny Carson whose humor was so gentle and certainly not subversive. When you turn on late night TV, do you want politics with your comedy?
I don't think that my human rights are political. I don't think that, like, that's an issue of politics. So when you have a candidate like Trump who runs on certain things that can be considered, especially from people from marginalized communities, can be considered inhumane. When you have like Jimmy Fallon and he's up there kind of massaging his head, it's like you don't realize that you're massaging the head of someone who's directly endangering my life and directly endangering my kids. And that to us is like, okay, I can't watch you now. And that's what it became. It's not about politics, it is about humanity.
I think a huge shift has been, when you talk about Jimmy Fallon, right? He is there to sell what the celebrities are selling, right? It's a movie, it's a book, and they all started out that way. And eventually, now when we see, just, pretty recently, you have someone like Jimmy Kimmel holding his baby during a monologue, bawling, and talking about how Congress needs to change the laws in relation to health, and saying that, quote, it's disgusting how they're putting the needs of the rich ahead of a little baby. That is powerful stuff.
In America, politics has kind of always been entertainment. I mean, Norman Mailer said that, the presidency is the lead actor in the soap opera of the country. That's what he said in the 70s. And of course, that's never been truer than now.
Let's continue this theme about politics and pop culture and talk about sports. Again, for the longest while, people would say for athletes, play on the field, skate on the ice. We don't care what your politics are. Now you have Colin Kaepernick, who has taken a very, very public stand. Who wants to jump in? And
I'd love to. I mean, listen, Colin Kaepernick is set to become the first major star athlete to lose his career over his beliefs. So it is very fitting that, within the month of December, he received the Muhammad Ali Legacy Award by Beyonce, no less. And you've seen star after star come to his aid. These are popular culture figures, influential, Jay-Z, people like Shonda Rhimes, Uzo Aduba, Stevie Wonder. They all put out, whether it was social media posts or said something at their concerts, and that's just scratching the surface. There were many more. So contrast that with something like the Olympics of 1968, where you saw the famous Black Power salute, and who supported them then, and how different the time was at that particular time, especially for John Carlos and Tommy Smith. And, Tommy Smith was asked, people said, you're protesting at the wrong place. This isn't the venue. Obviously, people say that to Kaepernick, too. And he said, listen, I could have gone to Central Park. I could have done it over there, but no one would care. And that's the point.
Here's the tough question, though, and I don't mean to throw cold water on that, and maybe this doesn't, but sure, Kaepernick's gotten a lot of support across the United States, but isn't it just a kind of illustration of how divided the United States is? Has he changed any minds, do you think, in the United States?
I don't think so. And because at the end of the day, we still call this anthem protest, and it's not an anthem protest. I've been covering this story from the exact second it broke, and there's not been one single anthem protest in this past 12, 13 months.
So what is it?
It's been a protest against police brutality and inequality against marginalized groups, and they've used the anthem as a way to demonstrate what it is.
But that's lost on a lot of people.
Yes. So but there's people who I think it's willfully lost against. So this is the discussion when you're talking about black athletes. Unfortunately for black athletes, from the second that they started to integrate sports, our existence has been political. So our existence in sports has been political because our existence in society is political. And that's something that we're seeing with Colin Kaepernick. And also when you're talking about the divide, especially here in Canada, that's what you're seeing on the opposite end with the Pittsburgh Penguins, where they don't have the same diverse makeup, so they don't have the same diverse stances to these sorts of issues. That's why they could say, let's put politics aside because we're going to just focus on going to see Donald Trump.
We've gone this many minutes talking about politics and pop culture, and we haven't even mentioned Me Too. So, Stephen, so much has been said about that. So much should be said about it. Yeah. What can we say about that tonight?
Well, I mean, I think, sometimes the changes that happen, these things are so invisible. They're not like you think, because they're spectacles, because we're watching sports spectacles, because we're watching film spectacles. That's how we process them. I think with Me Too, that is a real structural change to the nature of Hollywood. If you're going to have and the consequences of that will be play out over a decade or more. Like if you're like the point of Hollywood is that it is a group of very powerful men in control of a group of very beautiful women's bodies. That has been how it has worked for 100 years, and when that changes, I don't know what will replace it, and I don't think anyone does.
There's a critical mass of people who are now saying, with our eyeballs, we're not going to watch something. And it's not profitable anymore for them, or at least beneficial, to put a certain star. In almost all of the cases of the big wigs, the men who have fallen from grace, who've lost their jobs, they, in many cases, have been doing it for decades, or at least are accused of doing it for decades. And so why now? Why now? Not because the silence breakers, thank God for all the women and some men too, years ago, who broke the silence. No, right now they're profit breakers. And they are changing the game. But here's the problem. In a woman working in a factory or in a grocery store or somewhere where their boss is doing this to them, are they ever going to be shamed or outed in the way that can we as media cover all of the different accusations out there? No, because I don't see significant change, at least not for a very long time, in a grand way.
We've been talking up until now about how individuals have taken political or human rights issues and put them in areas that we don't normally hear or see them. Let's talk about where politics, if that's what we want to call it, has intruded on pop culture in maybe the most grotesque way, and that is terrorism. Manchester, Victoria Day here in Canada. I remember driving back from a long weekend and hearing the news of all the people, all the young women who had been killed in there. Is there anything other than sadness that we can take from what happened in Manchester?
When the producer mentioned it to me, I'd actually forgotten about Manchester, and it just was like, how bad has 2017 been that the mass murder of children at an Ariana Grande concert, I don't have room in my brain for it anymore. I mean, what could be worse than blowing up a pop music concert? It's horrible what people can do. I mean, I do think it is amazing that terrorism has taken these targets from military targets to then civilians are part of the military, then they just go straight to art. They just go straight to the human dimension. But, the truth is, like, they're hitting where the symbolism is. And the symbolism is in these concerts. These are the best parts of living in free cities.
We're talking about a year that has had a lot of low points in it and maybe a lot more sadness than high points. And if I were to ask you to look back at 2017 from a pop culture perspective and tell me about something that you celebrate, you all look so sad after the conversation we had.
I mean, it's a heavy year, man. It's been a heavy year.
Let's turn the corner for a bit as we get towards the end of this. And is there anything? Think of the opening scene of La La Land if you have to get happy for a moment.
So my big takeaway from 2017 was I loved the fact that not only did we see a great movie like Get Out come out and actually break barriers, not only did we see our Girls' Night, we saw Hidden Figures, movies with black female leads get such big responses, but also the fact that we saw Moonlight win an award and we win Best Picture. And
I thought La La Land won that. No, I'm just kidding.
And I mean, despite the mix-up, it was amazing that this story about a young black gay boy growing up in Miami, like the fact that could resonate with people, to me, it was amazing.
Steven, celebrate 2017 in pop culture.
Well, I mean, the reason I was looking sad when you said it is because the happiest, it was like, what was the best thing that happened in pop culture this year? It was the death of Gord Downey. It's like, oh, what a happy story. Some guy dying of brain cancer. But
so
on the
a
other
sad
hand,
moment,
it was
but happy
so
because
affirmative of the power of art in the face of degradation and death, and and how important it is to make art even in an honest way, even when you're facing devastation. And I saw them live the last concert in Toronto, and it was absolutely one of the most powerful concerts I've ever seen. And I think it was just kind of unique. It was a unique way of confronting. Which is so perfectly 2017, so confronting the darkness with, like, let's just light another candle.
So from the first concert to the last concert, I mean, what an impact they've had in Canada, for sure. And Are you feeling good about anything about 2017?
No one invites me to parties. I wouldn't mind. I'm feeling good. You know, I think of, when you're talking, I think of the poet Khalil Gibran, because when you think of your greatest sorrow is also your greatest joy, man, that is Gord Downie. But what I think the key is that what Gord Downie would want us all to be talking about is not him at all. And that's what he did to fight against the injustices for Indigenous peoples. And I think that this year, with Canada 150, and really it's been pushed forward, these deep conversations about how much pride should we have and maybe what should we not be so proud about. And I think that it's been so vital and so important to listen to those Indigenous voices, and it's been Gord Downie that's pushed that through. So I say 2017 is the year of deep, deep sorrow and really some incredible joy as well.
Let's celebrate or at least toast to a much better 2018.
I will, yeah.
Very wistful.
Right. Well, I wish I could. And all good. Yeah. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
To
Cheers.
a better 2018.
No one's inviting any of you to a party. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Next on The National, the British man determined to bring Canadian art to the world stage.
It's like an immersion course for what being a Canadian is, what the Canadian spirit is. And as I say, the world is looking at the Canadian spirit at the moment. It really is.
Big Ben playing its usual starring role as Londoners rang in the new year. Fireworks were set off next to the illuminated London Eye. The scene in Paris as they welcomed 2018 at the Arc de Triomphe. Spectators crowding the streets by the thousands. And this year, Dubai decided to use the world's tallest building as the focal point for its New Year celebrations.
Okay, here's Pete now to tell you what he's going to be talking about in a couple of seconds.
A real darling of a fruit, Clementines, coming up next when midday returns.
Welcome back. As Pete just mentioned, the Clementines are back on the shelves in the grocery stores, and he's here now with a word of warning about imposters.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to tell you about all the tasty little mandarins called Clementines today, a fruit which is imported from North Africa, Morocco, and Spain at this time of year. It's absolutely delicious, tasty, the kids love it, and you can't go wrong. Now, they've got a lovely pebbly orange skin. The way you can tell the Moroccan ones over the Spanish is most of the Moroccan Clementines have a little black diamond brand mark called Maroc, just like Sunkissed, only they put a Maroc on there. And I think the Moroccan ones have got the edge over the Spanish. So if you have the choice, plump for the Moroccan for the same price. A little bit better flavour, a bit on the sweeter side. As you can see, they've got a lovely pebbly orange skin, which is in fact Clementines have got the zipper skin, which the kids just love because they can get a hold of them and they can peel them in about 6 seconds flat. And there you've got segments which break away very easy, and they're just great to nibble on. Another nice thing about the Clementines is they're seedless. They are full of juice, flavour absolutely terrific. Now the thing to watch for this time of year, there's a lot of different mandarins available on the market, and quite a lot of them all look very similar. And for example here, we've got the Robinson Tangerine, which is another variety of mandarin. It comes out of Florida, looks very similar to a clementine. The only thing is, as you can see, this one's got seeds in, the flavour's not quite as good, and it doesn't peel like a clementine. So providing you know what you're getting, that's fine and dandy, but don't get the two confused. The Robinson Tangerine, or what I call the fabulous Clementine. This is Pete from Pete's Fruitique for midday. Toodly-doo.
Take it.
I was going to bring you some burnt bannock, but I brought you something else instead.
Oh, what is this?
A little Clementine for you,
thanks.
my little Clementine.
Oh, my little darling.
We can't think of anything else to say. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Control the twitching.
All vaccinations will be on the bargaining table, open for litigation.
There's a reason that we left when you were a kid.
I know what it's like. Did you ever think it was weird how fast you left here? Dad got an offer he couldn't pass up in the middle of the night.
Don't think Hadley would ever set foot in this town again.
Dad, what happened here?
I hope you haven't been listening to malicious rumors.
There's something you're not telling me.
Burden of Truth, new series, begins January 10th on CBC.
The McMichael Canadian Art Collection in Ontario is home to some of the most iconic Canadian artwork. Now it has a new boss who's come all the way from the UK with a plan to change the fortunes of the struggling gallery and make the world fall in love with Canadian art. Stephanie Van Kampen has more on that.
I think this is probably my favorite room. It's full of things that I was unfamiliar with, that are discoveries to me.
Out of 6,500 pieces of art, the biggest challenge facing the McMichael's new curator was picking just 150 for his first exhibition. Ian Desjardins fell in love with Canadian art years ago. In his last job, heading the famed Dulwich Picture Gallery in London, he introduced Tom Thompson, the Group of Seven, and Emily Carr to the British public, artists who were virtually unknown there.
The rest of the world needs Canadian art. I'm going to give it to them.
Now he's pouring that passion into the McMichael Canadian Art Collection.
My ambition is to make this the place to come and find out about the art of Canada in the whole of Canada and indeed the world. We should be the premier gallery for that in the world.
The 51-year-old gallery is nestled in the tiny village of Kleinburg, an hour outside of Toronto. It's been plagued by recent turnovers in leadership and battles between curators and the board. The largest publicly funded, distinctly Canadian collection, the McMichael is home to work by Lauren Harris, Franklin Carmichael, and Alex Colville, in addition to a wide range of Indigenous art.
It's all here. It's like an immersion course for what being a Canadian is, what the Canadian spirit is. And as I say, the world is looking at the Canadian spirit at the moment. It really is.
For his debut exhibition, Desjardins dug deep into the gallery's vast collection, dusted off and cleaned up some Canadian classics that haven't been displayed in years.
Oh, heavens.
He wants to boost visitor numbers, which have already gone up since he arrived.
It's time Canada started saying what great art it's got.
And
really.
You're aiming to change that?
I'm going to do it. I'm going to try.
Canadian art's cheerleader-in-chief, hoping to paint, for the world, a new picture of Canada. Stephanie Van Kampen, CBC News, Kleinburg, Ontario.
And just before we go, when we were out gathering reaction to this cold New Year's Eve in Winnipeg, we met Long Pham. He's been in Canada for just 4 months and a bit stunned by the deep freeze, but he sure has the right attitude about it.
Actually, in Vietnam, the lowest temperature is just 7 degrees, so it's a big shock to me when I came here.
So why are you outside when you hear it's so much colder than in Vietnam? Why do you come outside?
Because I want to discover the world, especially Canada, where its diversity is awesome.
So have you ever skated before?
No, this is my first time.
What does it feel like for you to be a part of this big event at the Forks tonight?
First of all, I feel really lucky because I'm about to go with my friend, skating with my friend, and we got a countdown to New Year's Eve. And just say Happy New Year's, my first New Year in Canada. When they say to Canada, they say cold, right? So when it's come to the first New Year in Canada, it should be cold for sure, right?
For sure, that is the National for December 31st. Good night and Happy New Year.